Side. How many tourists travel on these roads?
The Northern Lights happen tonight, and I just can't stop dancing. The way they always do when you're riding 16. I had to let the greens cook down a little bit because I had too many. Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Renee, and I am a woman in her 50s who walked away from the life that I had and purchased an RV and decided to travel the country, not only looking for adventure, but to continue a healing journey that I started back in 2020. This is about self-discovery, spiritual awakening, and just wanting to live a life of fulfillment. I went from a house to this RV, and I'm telling you, it has been an amazing experience. I purchased this RV back in April of 2024, and I started traveling in June of 2024. Now, I am currently mooch docking. And for those of you who don't know what mooch docking is, that means that I have my RV parked on private property. I'm right now in a driveway in a residential area. So sometimes you're going to hear noises and I can't do nothing about it. I'm plugged up to a 12-volt outlet. So I'm able to do a lot here. But I do shower in the house. But everything else, my work on my computer, everything else I do in this RV. I do a lot of cooking in the RV too. And sometimes I'll go in the house and cook. There is a treadmill inside, so I will go in to use the treadmill and the Peloton bike. But other than that, I'm in here, you know. I miss being, at the campgrounds and being in nature, but Miss Shug, my RV, needs some repairs and I need to make sure I'm safe. So there are things that I'm doing to prepare for my next trip. My next trip, I will be traveling for like 6 to 7 months. And then after that, I plan on traveling abroad. I'm so excited, you guys. I just made the deposits and I just figured out my routes and my schedule, and I am excited, and I am taking you with me on this one. Now, I have a bucket list, a list of things that I want to do before I leave this earth. I have lived the majority of my life, and I know that. So I'm very serious about the list. One of the things that I wanted to see was the Northern Lights. And after doing my research, it seems like Alaska was the place to be to see the Northern Lights. So I purchased the RV, quit the job. Now, what am I going to do about money? I have an emergency savings, but that's for emergencies, right? And I have a little bit of savings, but once again, that's for emergency. So now I have to figure out how to have an income. I do have a part-time job that I do online, but I needed something in addition to that because some of the destinations that I want to visit, the campgrounds can become very expensive, and I don't want to just stay for 2 or 3 days and then have to leave. I thought about stealth camping, but that's kind of hard to do in an RV. In a van, you can do that. You can hide and people can't recognize you, but I am in a 24-foot RV with full body paint. And so it's a recreational vehicle. So I can't hide. I have to either be at a campsite or someplace that allows you to park overnight. I want to experience it like the locals. I want to take it all in. So I decided to try the camp hosting jobs. It didn't pay what I was used to getting paid, but the good thing about it is that I don't have the overhead cost of the campgrounds, and I'm earning an income, and I'm only working part-time. So I applied for several jobs. I didn't think anybody would take me because I didn't have any experience in the things that I was applying for. And I was by myself. A lot of the companies were looking for couples, but I went for it. I said a prayer, and I must have sent out about 30 to 35 resumes. And I only heard back from one that was located in Maine. Not Alaska, which is what I wanted, but Maine was still one of the places that I wanted to visit. I always pictured myself sitting at a cafe, eating on lobster in Maine. So it was a no-brainer. I accepted that offer. It was only to be a 2-month assignment because the season had already started. This is like around in August, and their season ends in October. So I felt it would be a great experience for me. And I get to go from Atlanta to Maine. So I thought about all the places that I would see along the way. I started traveling to Maine. It was quite a trip. It wasn't, I didn't have time to stop and really visit and check out certain places that I wanted to, but it was nice. I'm currently somewhere on the coast of Maine. Life is good. I genuinely enjoyed my stay in Maine and had committed to being there for a little over 2 months. I met some of the most wonderful people, connections that remain strong to this day. But as beautiful as the experience was, there was also drama. I don't thrive in spaces that possess negativity and gossiping. So I decided to withdraw myself, pull back from a clique that was full of that. And I guess that caused problems with me on the job with a particular coworker. And it became very unbearable to me to continue working there. They definitely were intentionally trying to put me in situations that were false and just being devious. So an incident occurred. I'm not going to get into the incident, but an incident occurred that let me know that this is not for me. So I decided to leave Maine abruptly. I called Daryl, that, a strange husband of mine who always has my back. I called him and he flew out and was there the next day because he needed to help me drive my car, which I call Miss Seeley. I have a Kia Soul and she is Miss Seeley. Now, you may say, well, why don't you just tow her behind your RV? Well, we tried that, and there's a story behind that, but I'm not able to do that. But I'll tell you about that later on one of my other trips where I discovered a lot about towing cars behind an RV. So, needless to say, he arrived and, we were supposed to leave the next day, but he said, no, but I want to see Maine. But I really think he just wanted me to have a couple of days to see if this was what I really wanted to do and, not make an emotional decision at the last minute. You know what? And if I'm being honest with you, I was struggling internally. My emotions were all over the place. I knew something in me felt unsettled, but I wasn't sure if I was because of the situation or something deeper. Back in late 2020, I joined an inner fitness group led by Tina Lifford. And from that group, I have a circle of sisters, inner fitness sisters, a place where I feel safe, seen, and heard. And this is a group of women who I believe we were all looking for a deeper connection of self-awareness. And we were willing to do this work together. And because of that, we have a strong bond. There's a particular sister named Doreen. I probably have spoken to Doreen. I've known her for about 3 years now, maybe 4. And I've probably spoken to her on the phone 3 times. So we don't call each other often, but when we do, there's a lot of love. Something in my spirit told me to call Doreen, and I did. And instead of me telling you what she said, I'm going to let her tell you, because it went something like this.
Hi, my name is Doreen Vale, and I am an inner fitness sister of Renee. We met during one of Tina Lifford's conferences online, and we have been sisters ever since. Following her journey has been so exciting for me, and I was surprised one night when I got a call and she was sharing with me some of her distress about being on the road and wanting to leave somewhere that I know she had spoken about always wanting to go and visit, and having a hardship where she was with one of her coworkers. I listened to her intently, and then I remembered all the dreams that she had shared online with us. And what I said to her is, it's okay to leave. It's okay to want to go. You can go. But when you go, don't bring baggage that you did not bring in. Having a bad experience and running from that experience and bringing that experience with you unresolved is like going to a restaurant, having a meal, and it's the worst meal of your life. Actually made you sick, maybe even food poisoned. And what do? You tell the waitress to give you a doggy bag. You want to take what made you sick back home with you. And you put it in your refrigerator. And every time you open it, it's a reminder of how bad that experience was, to the point where you feel like you keep reliving it. So what I told her is, if you're going to go, if you decide to go, that's your choice. But don't leave with baggage that you did not come with. I thought the whole point of your journey was discovering new and freeing yourself up from old wounds. And that's exactly what she's doing. I'm so proud of you.
Honey, she was absolutely, positively right. And I knew it. Here's where it gets deeper. In my past, I have always been known to run away. As a child, I had to run away because my home was not safe. And I think that became a pattern for me, that when something is going bad, I leave. I don't want to deal with it. This time, I decided to stay and finish the commitment I made to the manager and stand up to those who were trying to set me up, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you, it worked out well, because without me making too much effort, they eventually told on themselves. So it really worked out. It worked out for my favor. And I decided to stay. I was so proud of myself. But this meant that Daryl would have to drive the Kia back early because he had to go to work. And I would be driving Miss Shug back to Atlanta all by myself. And I was ready for the challenge, because up until then, he would always follow me or ride with me. And I think I used that as a security blanket, because of the anxiety that I would feel driving this RV into cities that I don't know, depending on a GPS, and trying to watch everything around me. Don't know where I'm going, want to be able to change lanes in time. Let me tell you, that in itself, for someone who has a history of anxiety, is difficult, because anxiety, I can have an accident caused by my nerves. So I had to find a way to relax and tell myself, I got this. But that's another story that I'll tell you about later. Because let's get back to the Northern Lights. Daryl and I had this beautiful time exploring Bar Harbor, and we walked for hours and taking in the sights and the crisp Maine air, right? When we got back to the campground, I was supposed to cook, but I was too tired, honey. I did like maybe 5 miles that day, so I was tired. So I asked him to go get us something to eat at the cafe. So he stepped out, and a few minutes later, he called me. And he said, I'm not sure, but something is going on. The sky looks different. I didn't understand what he was saying. So I went outside, and this is what I saw. Oh my God. Look at God. This has to be God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. There it was, the Northern Lights, right in front of me. My bucket list item that I thought I had to go to Alaska to see was right there in front of my eyes in Maine. I had no clue it was coming. I had no clue that it could even be possible. But it was. It lasted for about 25 minutes, but something told me that it wasn't over, because by then I'm online checking Google, and I found out that it can last until 2 o'clock in the morning. So baby, it was cold that night, but I decided to build a fire, which is something I've never done by myself. And it went something like this. Say, this is my version of doing it. I have cotton and petroleum jelly. See, a few hours later, the sky came alive again. This time the lights were even brighter than before. They danced above me for nearly an hour and a half. I stood there in absolute awe, tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe this was happening. I always thought I had to go to Alaska to witness the Northern Lights, and yet they were right in front of me, just not in the way I had planned. I'm just overwhelmed right now. Okay, I tried to do a live, but I was too emotional, and I don't know how to do it. But I wanted to capture my real emotions. I'm driving around this national state park, and I'm seeing God all around me. There were times where I doubted if He even existed. Not anymore. Let me tell you something. Anybody out there, excuse all my junk back here, it's just that I'm learning that my RV is too big for a lot of things that I order. So these are all returns. But if you have a dream and you don't see your way through it, but yet you feel led to do it, do it. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. And you don't have to always be in control and know all the answers and know the ending. You just step out on faith and things work out. They really do. The right people come along. God will send you signs that He got your back. Even when you are scared, even when you can't see your way, do it. Do it. This has been a dream. I came from a bedroom of darkness and depression to live in my dream. And sometimes you have to do it alone. If you can't find anybody to do it with you, do it alone. Oh, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it. All right, I gotta go. Love y'all. Bye.